not gonna lie, I feel a little bit like the Grinch right now because we're gonna talk about some holiday makeup and I like a lot of it, but there's always a but. Like, so much of this has a but to it. So like, I don't know. I wanted to fall in love with all of it. I wanted to be obsessed with all of it. And a lot of these aren't to like obsession level. You know what I mean? So I hope to give you some information on a bunch of new holiday launches. I feel like holiday season in the makeup world literally lasts like 4 months. And although we're only in November, it feels like some of this stuff is old news. But anyway, I hope my reviews can be helpful. Let's just get into it. I'm just gonna start it off with one of my favorite things I picked up this year. It's also one of the first things that I bought. It launched pretty early. This is from Lancome and it's in collaboration with the Louvre. As soon as I saw promos for this, I was so excited. I loved the embossing that was in the powders. It just looked stunning. And the powders themselves just looked like nice, everyday, easy wear type of stuff, which has been, I feel like, overall my preferred method. Even if I'm gonna do color, I'm gonna do pops here and there, I feel like the actual application, the amount of product I'm putting on, the way I'm constructing looks is a little bit more simple, just what I'm preferring on myself currently. And so I like that this palette was pretty simple overall. There's not a ton of variation, to be honest, in color in here, but I find I use all these powders quite a bit. I mean, the green's probably the least amount. I've used it a couple of times and I do like it. It's a little bit of a duochrome. It has like a green purple shift on it, but you can use these powders on your face, on your eyes, wherever you want to use them. They're a baked formula, which I find is just like a preferred formula for me right now. Like, if it's baked, I'm taking a second look. I just love the way those shimmers look. They are delicate yet impactful, so easy to blend. They look so great on skin, you know? So I'm just like really obsessed with baked powders and baked formulas right now. I realized I did not put the highlighter on today, so I'm actually gonna do that. I'm just gonna use this brush from Sigma, but I really use this one the most for like highlighter, brow bone, inner corner, and I feel like it gives me that perfect amount of sheen. It's not like metallic, but it's also not too subtle, and it's not like powdery. Some highlighters, I feel like when they go the subtle route, just almost look like face powders with a tiny bit of a sheen on them. This is still like a shimmery powder overall. I'm gonna do my inner corner also, but just absolutely stunning. I love this palette. It's expensive though, okay? This thing is like $89. If you can get it on a deal for Black Friday or somehow get a discount, I do suggest that. I think it's at Ulta now, so if you have points, whatever. I just love this because it's an everyday. Like, I know after season, I'm gonna wanna wear this palette because the tones are a little more boring. I do find that I'm reaching for it more often than not. And I really feel like the negative is the price point on it. I mean, the packaging itself I think is really pretty. It's a little bit lightweight, but I don't necessarily mind that too much. I feel like, again, the powders have held up, everything else is held up. So I really love this. I think it might be my top pick of everything from holiday that I've picked up. I love the theming. I love the vibe. I love the looks. I love that I've been actually using it a lot. So I feel like it just kind of hits all the marks. I feel like the biggest negative on this is just that price point. But we have other things in here that, I mean, I feel like cost so much more in comparison that I also like. So even the price on that one, I still feel like for how much I'm using it, all of that, I still really like it. It's probably my top pick. So we're just starting off with that. Okay, just so you know, that's the bar. Let's move into the Charlotte Tilbury Beautyverse palette. I was so excited for this. I know you guys know that. I was so freaking pumped. This was gonna be one of the only holiday purchases I was gonna make. I was like, this is the one, that's the palette for me. I don't really need to see anything else. And again, there are things I like about this palette. I don't think that it won't work for everyone, but there's always that but, man. I personally like the outside packaging. I think it's really beautiful. It's sparkly and pretty. It's a little lightweight again, but I just feel like that's kind of how it is. As for what's inside, it's a 9-pan palette. There's a mix of shimmers and mattes. I love the mattes that are in here. They're silky, they're smooth, they're so blendable. They actually are more of like a satin matte. Like, they do have a little bit of shimmer to them. Like, they're not flat, they're not chalky. You know what I mean? And I love them. I feel like they're so blendable, so nice, really luxe feeling. So I love the mattes in here overall in formula. And ideally, I'd love the shimmers too. I've done a lot of looks with this palette using the shimmers in a bunch of different ways. My simple one shadow looks, doing something a little bit more built up. And I find with these sheer sparkly toppers, it's just a little bit harder for me to get what's on and in the pan onto my eyeballs. I usually just use a finger. That's like my preferred overall method. And I usually do like a cream shadow base, but I don't necessarily do a glitter glue. And I do think these need a glitter glue for the highest impact. So if you're used to using glitter glue, you like that look, then this might still be a great palette for you. But that's not like necessarily my preferred way. I like just being able to tap a little shimmer on, you know, going about my day. I don't mind a little bit of fallout, but the shimmery particles in here are just a little bit heavier and they just aren't as elegant or as nice as I wanted. I don't know. I just was never fully satisfied with a full look from this palette, specifically with those shimmers. And honestly, it breaks my heart because I really wanted to love these. I love glittery, shimmery toppers. So this one was just not it for me for $75. I felt like it was just a lot of money for me to not like half the palette. I don't know, man. This sent me into crisis mode and also made me question everything. So I bought more holiday makeup. I was like, okay, I thought that was going to be the palette for me. What if there's something out there that I didn't think was going to be for me, but turns out to be freaking amazing? I don't know if that happened. I'm not sure if I was really wowed, but one of the best shimmery, sparkly topper shades from the whole holiday, which those sheer sparkly topper shades were totally a trend this year. I absolutely love the shades in the Patrick Ta. These are probably my favorite that have come out all year. I love this little quad, okay? Every single one of the shades in here is beautiful. These are a thinner, again, more flaky, I guess, and like lightweight shimmer. So it's so easy to just, you know, put my finger in, tap it on, get that really high shine, sparkly, wet finish look. So I love the quad in here, okay? But then it's paired with the rest of this stuff. So here's the but. Here's the but. I know this color pink is so trendy, so for the girls it works for, I love it for you. This might be a whole winner and a banger. I'm finding it questionable. I don't know what it is. This tone just doesn't always look good. Sometimes I can make it work. My favorite shade would be the cream in the darker pink. I do like that. I just have to be careful with like what other foundation I'm wearing, how much of my skin's peeking through. It can just look like a hot mess pretty fast, honestly. So I can definitely make some of this work. The lighter pink, even on me, these have like, it almost looks like a glow. Like it's a matte powder, but because it's so like baby pink, somehow on my cheeks, it almost just starts looking like, I don't know. This is a weird comparison, but it's like a toxic pink glow. I don't know, it's giving me toxic Barbie on my cheeks anyway. I just don't love it. It's a little powdery. It just looks a little dusty on me even. So I'm not sure how that's even gonna work on people with darker complexions. I just don't know how much I love the blushes. And I really, really wish we had a blush quad for the people who want the blushes, eyeshadow quad for the people who want the eyeshadows. This would be a win-win-win-win if it was just the quad for me. I would be obsessed with it. I would be like, yes, this is it, get it, love it, yes. But the other products in here which add to the value of this palette, I get that, aren't adding actual value for me necessarily. And so for this price at $65, it's just a little bit much for just the quad and to not use the rest of the stuff. So love it. But, you know, I do want to talk about the Oden's Eye palettes. They are launching holiday palettes, which I am beyond excited to say that last year's palettes, which were some of my faves, are making a comeback. These are going to be launching tomorrow on November 10th. So I definitely suggest, specifically, I love Merry Christmas the most. It's pretty colorful, but I love this palette. I just love the tones in here. I feel like they go together. You can create tons of looks that are cohesive together, things that are more monochromatic, things that pop against each other. But I also love that you can just take and piece out this palette and do one shadow looks, add a little pop here, add a little pop there. I love this. I love a Christmas theme though. I am a sucker. I think the packaging is beautiful. I am an affiliate with Oden's Eye. I have a palette with Oden's Eye, so you can use my code Lauren, save 10% off if you're shopping, if this is something you want. I know so many people who wanted these palettes were not able to get their hands on them. They just, I don't think, realized how popular these were gonna be. This one here is the Christmas Eve palette, which is more cool toned. Again, really stunning if these are more your tones. You like the blues, you like the silvers. Again, I really do love these palettes. I think they're beautiful. I treasure them in my collection, and I know they're not going to bring them back pretty much after this. So if you wanted them, I feel like now is the time to get them. But with that, there's also 2 new palettes, which I was so excited for. Look at these. They're so freaking cute. I love the outside of the snow dream so much. I just love how festive it is. I love that it's kind of cluttered and like eccentric. Like I just love that, you know? It's like totally my style. A little eclectic. I love it. And when I first opened these and saw the inside, I was so excited. I was like, okay, we got a lighter color scheme. Like, okay, a little bit more neutral, I'm seeing. I was really into it, very excited. Then I can't lie, the first look I ever did, I did with the Hey Reindeer palette. It has some pinks. I don't know, the color stories, again, as much as I felt like they matched the outsides and all this, when I actually started getting into like, okay, what is the look I'm doing? blanks, drawing blanks a little bit. It's a little bit difficult. And I can't lie, the first look I ever did with this, I'll pop some footage of it on the screen. You can decide if you like it or not, but I just didn't love it. I wasn't in love. And I think, you know, I was trying to create a more full out look with a bunch of shades in here. So I think that's part of it. Like, I do like pieces of this palette. I love candy canes. I absolutely love bells. Presence down here is stunning, like a beautiful blue shade. Like the shimmers in this palette are beautiful and I like them for one shadow looks. But when I start trying to like build out a full-on look, like a more intense look, something a little bit more complex, I don't know how much I love this color story. You know what I'm saying? One of the shimmers in here too, this one is called Christmas Ham. It's a little bit chunky, you know, it has a little bit more of the flakes. You really gotta like blend it out. So I didn't love that shade. I love this dark brown though. Absolutely stunning. Used it for my wing today. I've been using this a ton. It's super deep, super dark, but overall this palette doesn't have a lot of depth. And I think it's nice to have that so it can work on different skin tones, of course, but also, you know, just to build out different looks if you want to go there, it's nice to reach for it. I also really do like cider. It's like a baby blue. I love that on the inner corner as a fun little pop, but just overall, I feel like the color story is a little bit challenging, and although there are pieces in here I like, as a whole it's not necessarily as exciting as I was really hoping. So that's Hey Reindeer. As for Snow Dream, I do like this color story a little bit better. I feel like there's just more individual shadows in here that I really connect with and really enjoy. Today I'm wearing Hugs all over my lid. Absolutely love it. Such a beautiful shimmer. This one has like multi-dimensional pink and green and blue and gold and purple like sparkles within it. Absolutely stunning. I love the look that came out today. I also put a little bit of Boots and Feast together as like a little bit of a transition and a little bit more of Feast on the outer corner, that brown. And again, I love the eye look today, but this is so simple. You know what I mean? Like a very simple look. Something kind of exciting about this palette, there is a hollow shadow in here, which is pretty interesting. It does turn a little bit silvery on me. So as much as I love that it's hollow, I'm like, I don't necessarily always use silvery shades, but I think it's really cool and super fun to like play with and have a pop. I feel like hollows aren't as normal. Like I don't have a ton of hollow, so I think it's a really cool inclusion nonetheless. I love the Magic shade so much. I love Sweater. I love Mary as well, like this light sagey green. Tinsel's also really pretty, also kind of similar to the one in my palette. The purple shade in here is beautiful. So I feel like there's more shades in this palette that I really do like, but it doesn't have a ton of depth. This Snowflake shade's really pretty. It's like a pastel green, but it, you know, it doesn't show up a ton. I like using it on the inner corner, but it's still kind of subtle. Ornament is beautiful. I wore it with Mary on top of my lids. I really loved that look, but you know, again, it's not a ton of depth. So I don't know. You just have to decide. I think just color story wise, they're a little bit more challenging. That being said, I am a sucker for the packaging on these. I'm not gonna lie. So I'm happy to have them, but in terms of like use, and that's like a big thing for me when I'm really thinking of like how high I'm kind of ranking these different holiday collections in my mind, I definitely think I'm gonna get more use out of the Snow Dream, but I do think they're a little bit more challenging. So those are my thoughts initially. I mean, I'm still playing around with them, but I wanted to at least get you some thoughts. Again, though, I do really suggest the older palettes, the Merry Christmas one especially. It's so pretty. All right, moving past that, I know you guys aren't gonna expect it, but I picked up the Pat McGrath collection. I have all the palettes here. I actually got these on what I feel like is a decent deal. It was like the whole bundle, plus I got like 20% off or something, and it was right when they had launched, so I thought it was pretty good for all these palettes, and I wanted to give my thoughts, especially after that Charlotte Tilbury palette. I was like, maybe these are gonna be amazing, and I just feel like in the middle about I'm telling you, I feel like a fucking Grinch. I'm telling you. I'm like, I'm just de-influencing you, I guess. I don't know. But with these palettes overall, like I like them okay. I think I like the bigger palettes, like the face palettes, the least. I just find them a little bit bulky, and you know, when I think of Pat McGrath, I want that luxury experience, and I just don't think these give it. You know, these feel like holiday, I don't know, it sounds mean, but it's like the Too Faced version of holiday palettes, but for Pat McGrath almost. Yikes, I know. Especially the big ones though with the blushes and stuff in them. I know they have some value. I'm not saying you can't make them work, but I just think if you're gonna get these, like get them on a great deal, okay? Specifically, this one is the Jeweled Temptation, my least favorite out of the two bigger palettes. Color story wise for shadows, I'm definitely more into the Starstruck Splendor. There's some really beautiful shades in here. The greens, this kind of duochrome, really beautiful, you know, and the mattes that are in here I think complement and make some great looks, but again, it's just kind of bulky. It just, you know, it's just not my favorite overall in style. And if you're thinking about these, I would wait for them to go on a great sale. And then I think you'd feel great about it. As for the 5 pans, these I was really excited about. And again, I like these. These are at the $36 price point, whereas the big face palettes are at the $76 price point. And I do think these are really pretty. If there's one that really catches your eye, for $36, I don't think it's too bad. Again, if you can get them on a deal though, get them more at the 20 something. I think that's a better price point for sure. This one's Sunset Romance, really beautiful. I've created some pretty looks, don't get me wrong. I'm not like connected. This one's my favorite in terms of color story, but realistically, you know, these darker tones aren't necessarily what I'm wearing every day, so it's not like it's gonna get a ton of use, but I think this color story is stunning, right? The shadows themselves are really beautiful. This one's Bordeaux Bliss. I think this one was really pretty. I created a really beautiful look with this, like kind of a smoky halo-ish eye, kind of a little bit loose halo eye, and it looked beautiful, but again, I'm just not as connected, like, I don't know. And then last year, this one's the Bronze Ecstasy. I just feel like I wish more of these were more distinct. I feel like the most distinct one is that darker one with the blue shades. Some of the neutrals kind of run into each other. I definitely think these palettes will work for people, and like if you love these tones, again, these could be everyday palettes for you depending on what you normally wear, but I was hoping having these in my hands, I'd be like, oh no, so glad I didn't pass them up, and I just wasn't getting that feeling from them either. Okay? I know, guys, I know. I still have a few more loves, don't get me wrong. Let's take a break from eyeshadows and palettes. I know I have a lot of those and I have more to come, but I do want to mention some lip products that are holiday exclusives. Who knows if they'll come back. Hopefully some of these will make a reappearance, but I want to mention, I'm sure you've heard me talk about it. This is a rave, this is a love, like this is one I suggest. This is one of the lip butters from Summer Fridays. It's in the shade Iced Coffee, and first it smells amazing. It doesn't necessarily smell like iced coffee. It's more like mapley or like caramely or something, but it smells so good. I love it. Just a little bit of holiday cheer, but not like I wouldn't want to wear it other times either. The color on it's beautiful. The feeling of these lip butters is amazing. One of my favorite kind of tinted balm and just balm formulas out there at the moment. So highly suggest this. It does come in a 3-pack. So you get 3 full sizes. You get this one, the vanilla, and I believe the cherry one, if I'm not mistaken. Again, all full size for $50. I know it's sold out at Sephora, but I have seen it on Kohl's, and I've also, I think it's on their site. So if I can find it, I will link it down below for you guys. I just highly suggest it. These retail for like $26 or $24 on their own. So you get basically one of them free if you can find a discount code, something out there online. Obviously, I'm always down for you saving some money on stuff, but I do really love this. I'm so glad I have it. I love this little limited edition shade. I'm hoping they just bring it back though, or just make it permanent at some point. But until then, I'm really glad I got it. Okay, drugstore lippy. This one's from Milani, and this is the Fruit Fetish Cranberry Currant Lip Oil. I think I only have one other lip oil from Milani, and I haven't used it a ton, but this cranberry color was just so pretty. This is a limited edition like shade and kind of scent. I think these are all scented different for each color that they are. So this does have a bit of like a cranberry kind of smell, but there's also this kind of other off-putting smell in it. It's not so bad that I won't wear it, but I'm gonna warn you, it's there, okay? That's the but. If you want to know the but on this one, that's it. As for everything else though, this is what I'm wearing today. I'm wearing it with my Wherever Walnut lip liner and just this. It feels so good. This is such a great feeling on the lips. Obviously, it's so nice to be at a drugstore price point. It doesn't feel drugstore. It feels nice and luxurious. I know other people rave about these, so you're probably like, yeah, bitch, we know, but I'm just saying this cranberry color I think is beautiful. Perfect tint of red. It has a little bit of shimmer in it too. Just perfect. I really love it. Besides that slightly off taste / smell, but not too bad. It's not too bad, and it might just be me. I can be sensitive, I can be picky, so for you guys it might be something that you don't even notice, so it might be worth the pickup. I got this off of Ulta, so if you see this, if you're looking for kind of a tinted red lip oil, you want something that feels hydrating and plush and is kind of glossy, I really like this. All right, this is the last piece for our lip product break before the eyeshadows return. This is from Too Faced. I did end up picking this little set up. It's the Pillow Balm set. These are kind of expensive, I feel like, overall, but I do really like the Pillow Balms. They feel really nice. Again, it's like a liquefied balm on your lips. And this set has 3 minis in it. You get the original, which is so nice, and then you get 2 limited edition shades in here. Again, I'm just kind of a sucker. I think these are so nice. This one is like clear, basically, with a little bit of shimmer in it. This one's spiced cider, and then also there's one called holiday wine, which adds, again, a little bit of that tint to it. Really just beautiful, easy to wear colors. A little more color than some other glosses, but again, it just looks so nice on the lips. These do have almost like, no matter which one you pick up, I have the banana one too. They have like a mintiness that happens, so they do have a little bit of plumping. Nothing like their lip injections, so don't be too scared, but I just think these are pretty nice. I definitely prefer the iced coffee over these if you were trying to go back and forth, but if you can find these on a deal, again, on a deal, if you were already looking at them, that type of thing, I think these are pretty nice. I kind of like that they're minis because you don't always necessarily need a ton of lip product to enjoy it and kind of move on to something else once you finish it or whatever. So I'm in between on this one. If it goes on a great sale, it might be something if you were already looking at it. All right, back to eyeshadow. Okay, let's talk about the Urban Decay Moondust. I know so many of you guys have been like, where's your review? Where's your review? It's just been so much over here, guys. I'm trying, I'm really trying. But I did pick up the Moondust Space Rider. This is the 4-pan that came out for holiday. There's another one. I didn't end up getting that, and I'm happy. I'm happy with just this one. I think this is a pretty dang solid holiday release. If you like the Moondust formula, which is that sheer, sparkly, glittery topper type of shadow, I think you're probably gonna love this. I will say, you know, something, this is the butt. Here we go. I do just absolutely love the Space Cowboy shade from Urban Decay. I know this is kind of like the most popular one. This and Lithium I think are really beautiful. And Space Cowboy is in here, so it might be a good opportunity. I got a comment saying like, this Space Cowboy is different, and they're very similar. I would say if there's a difference, this one maybe is slightly warmer in the base, but I feel like the particle overall is pretty much the same. Like, I feel like I'm very, very much nitpicking. So I think you'll be really happy with this Space Cowboy. I find it to be beautiful, and I like it the most out of all the shades in here, to be honest. I do like Wild Dipper Rides Again. I do like Cosmic Space Dust. These have a little bit more pigment to their base, but then have a lot of sparkle. I think they're colors a lot of people are gonna like, but I think, you know, when I get excited about these, it's because I love Space Cowboy so much, right? And so in some ways, I'm realizing that I'm just hoping they come out with like Space Cowboy, but not Space Cowboy, and that's not what's happening here. There are other shades, they look different, they don't do the same thing. So again, they're sparkly, they're beautiful, but if you're looking for just more of Space Cowboy, I don't know if you're gonna get that. Again, I'm feeling like such a Grinch. I'm not saying that you won't like this, but I'm just trying to give you my thoughts. These are my real honest thoughts, okay? I'm just saying, I do like this. I'm happy I picked this one up. Like, I overall am very happy with this. But again, I just want to give you my honest thoughts, and it's not just like, oh my God, amazing, you need it. Like, I don't know. Hopefully this is more helpful for you and actually deciding what's going to be worth it. I thought I would mention here too, though, the single shadows that came out. These aren't necessarily like a holiday release, but they released with the palette like at the same time. I don't think these are limited edition, but I did pick up all of them. I have Cosmic Craze, I have Wild Dipper, and then I also have Rebel Star. I think Wild Dipper is my favorite, but the sparkle in here is not as finely milled as Space Cowboy, so there's almost like a twinkling effect that one has. This one just is more in your face. It's beautiful nonetheless. It's just different. You know what I mean? Even though it's the Moondust formula, and it might be slight to other people, but I definitely noticed that the chunks in here are just a little bit bigger, so it's just a little bit more of a in your face look, whereas I feel like Space Cowboy somehow totes the line of like, it's a lot, but it's also not. You know what I mean? Like, it's really special. It's just a special shadow. And then the other shades in here, I mean, these just have both those like pinky, rosy, warm undertones to them. And I think that's pretty, but I definitely have been leaning more toward like cool undertones, like taupe shadows. So just in preference, they're not necessarily the singles I'm going for right now, but again, really pretty. I think they're ones to check out. And in general, as much as single shadows, I know value-wise are kind of hard to swallow. I do find sometimes I'm the most satisfied with them because it's one shadow and I like it. You know what I mean? Whereas with other palettes, you might get a bunch of shadows, but if you're not using most of them, you know, there's something to that. I think I definitely get a lot of satisfaction when I feel like the whole of something or a lot of the thing that it is something that I'm using and enjoying. That brings us into Chantecaille. I bought the single eyeshadow from Chantecaille's holiday collection. This is the Precious Metals, I think it is, collection. This is what it looks like. I think the packaging is really beautiful. It's gold. It has like this kind of gold leafing with resin almost on the outside, and I think it's just fun, a little bit special. This is bigger than their normal eyeshadows, and then inside is just a singular shadow. I know, and I think this is like $65, I want to say. It's expensive, okay? It's Chantecaille. That's just their price point, baby. That's where they're at. I can't lie, I really like this shadow. It's just a duochrome pink to gold kind of color. I'm pretty sure this one's baked, but I think it's stunning. On my eyes, single shadow look, beautiful. I love it. It adds a little bit of fun because it does have a shift to it, but it's not too intense necessarily, and I think it's so pretty. Now, the but on this is the price. Like, if you just like this, but you're like, bitch, I don't care about it being Chantecaille, I don't care about that crap, you can find this shadow, I feel like, a lot of places. It's not a unique duochrome. I'm about to mention something that's very similar, but for experience, for all of it, I do like this. I'm satisfied with this purchase. I knew exactly what I was getting. I knew the quality I was gonna get. I knew everything, you know? Before I went into it, I knew it was gonna be expensive, swallowed that pill, and after I do that, I do enjoy it. So I'm very happy with this one, but I don't think this is for everyone. And again, if this is out of your budget, this isn't something you wanna spend your money on, even if you have the money for it, you're like, I still don't wanna spend $65 on one single eyeshadow. There are so many indie brands and so many other, I feel like, offerings that you could get something so similar to this, including this next thing. This is actually not eyeshadow. I did end up picking one thing from the Melt and Nightmare Before Christmas collection because I'm a stan, okay? I've talked about it. I'm a little indie alt girl at heart, okay? I love Jack and Sally, and I just wanted a keepsake kind of memento from the collection. So I picked up the highlighter. This is the True Love Never Dies Digital Dust Highlight, and this is a pink and gold highlighter. It is essentially the same shade as the Chantecaille one. It's almost the same finish. If anything, again, it's slight. I'm getting into the nitty gritty, into the weeds here, but this one does have a little bit more of an orangey base on it. It's like a little bit more orange and a little bit more intense in that way. So there's that. This again is a highlight. I do think it looks nice just on with a brush. I'll show you a video of that, but you know, again, I just think this is so pretty. It had a pretty embossing. I just didn't want to miss out, but this thing's so expensive. I think it's like 45 bucks, and that's for a duochrome highlighter that, again, I'm buying a little bit more for keepsake. So this one's a keepsake for me. I don't know if this is going to be for everyone. I wish this was just a regular highlighter. I know that maybe wouldn't be as fun with the collection, but I would have loved that just for like personal reasons and like actually using it every day. But nonetheless, still happy, knew what I was getting when I bought it, but I wanted to give a review on it. Just let you know, it's nice. If you like a duochrome highlighter, it might be one to check out. If you like Jack and Sally, it might be one to check out, but definitely not a need, more of like a collector's item again in my collection. Okay, I'm popping in here. First, tell me how the hell I forgot to put earrings on this whole video. Annoying, so fucking annoying. But how could I forget this little guy? It fell, and that's why I actually forgot it. But from KVD Beauty, I wanted to mention this one. This is the Surreal Bloom Metallic Vegan Eyeshadow Palette. It's a 6-band palette. I love that it's so tiny. It's in a metal tin, which I kind of love. Like, I don't know, there's something kind of special about this. It has some really beautiful artwork. And then inside, there are 6 shadows, like I said. Most of them are pretty colorful. They're all shimmery, which I really love. And these are actually more of like a regular standard metallic or shimmer. This retails for like $28, so it's more affordable overall, and also you can get this, I'm sure, on a deal as well. I think the quality of this is so nice. I feel like color-wise, it's not necessarily me. I wish there were a little bit more neutral tones in here because I'm just boring at the moment, but this shimmer is blinding. I need the tiniest bit of that on my inner corner, or it is like, you know, metallic looking almost. Really just beautiful though. I think this is one, if these colors speak to you, if you're like over the glittery, shimmery toppers, you're like, enough already. If that's not your style or formula, you want something a little bit more standard, this might be one to check out if these colors look good to you. I was pretty happy with this. I like that it was simple and little and a little bit understated as a collection. So this one is actually pretty good if it fits for what you're looking for. Oh my gosh, guys, can you hold on? We have like 3-ish more things to talk about. I know, it's a long one. I've tried a lot of holiday makeup and I still don't even feel like I'm putting everything in here. I have the Pretty Grunge palette from Huda Beauty. I just need to use it a little bit more. I just didn't feel like I had enough use on it to quite mention it in here. Same with, I mean, is the Xenon palette from Natasha Denona her holiday release? I'm like, wait, is that the holiday collection? I don't know about that. But a palette I do want to mention, even though I haven't had it long, this is where I know that I'm not necessarily against color. It really is just the style and the way that I'm doing makeup is more simple, but this Danessa Myricks Lightwork Volume 5 palette is stunning, okay? Had no intention of picking this up. Like literally was like yawn almost. And I'm like, I'm offended at what I thought about that now that I have this, you know what I mean? So this one's a success, and I feel like overall is one of my most positive purchases, I feel like, of the holiday season. First off, I think it's like nice and sturdy, really pretty, kind of a pro thing going on, which I really like from the line, but also it's still kind of fun. Inside though, this is where the magic is. Look at all these shadows. If you are looking for just shimmer shades, duochromes, like high quality stuff, this palette has it. There are so many different finishes in here, so many different sparkles in here. When I swatched it, I was like, I can't not get that. I got it during the sale, so this is a very expensive palette. It's $125, but I do feel like it's high quality. It is high quality, and I love, you know me, I love an all shimmer palette because I do want to work with just pops. I want to be inspired by one color and kind of build a look or whatever around it. And really the color that convinced me that not only could this be pops, but I really could wear this every day if I wanted to, is Unstoppable down here. This is just so pretty. It's kind of like a red toned duochromatic shimmery shade. I'm trying to tell you all the shimmers that are in here. I'm telling you, I don't know what lights they use at Sephora, but the way it sparkles, the way it looks, it really shows every like sparkly detail of this palette. I hope that I can even do it slight justice. And if you have a Sephora near you, I would go in and stop if you're into these colors, of course. But this, I was like, okay, I could wear this on my lid, single shadow look, love it, right? So I was like, at least I have one shadow in here that could be that. I also feel like Radiant is like that for me. I love these kind of duochrome oranges for just, again, a sheer wash on the lid with a little mascara. Summertime Ease. I love that kind of look. So with that, and then with all the other stunning shades that are in here, I'm like, I'm gonna get this. Like, I have to get this. It really is stunning. There are some more chunky shades, like Centered here is definitely a little bit chunky. So as much as that's like high quality, and the shine on it is so pretty, it's like golden, but then in different light, it almost looks like a cool tone silver. I don't think that that shadow is necessarily for everyone. It's a little more specific, but overall, I just think this is stunning. And I'm so glad I didn't pass it up. I just feel like this, along with my Isamaya palette, which also is all shimmer, the Industrial 2.0, this and that to me are just beautiful. I love that they have like all the shimmers I could want, reach in here, add a little matte, whatever I want to do from other palettes, other things. I don't know, I'm really happy with this one. And again, I'm a little surprised, but also not. I mean, it's a stunning palette. If you're looking for like indie quality at Sephora, which I think is kind of hard, I really do think this is great. I thought I'd mention really fast too before I like put this away. I put Resilient in my inner corner recently, and that looked stunning. I just am excited to play. This gets me excited. It feels like artistic and makes me want to create looks that I want to do, and doesn't make me feel like conformed to whatever color stories in the palette, because that's not a color story. It's just shadows to create, almost like paint swatches, you know, and I really like it. All right, last section here, I have some stuff from Bobbi Brown, and these two, I hope you can still get them. If these are still available, I will link them down below, but I highly suggest these little duos from Bobbi Brown. I mean, the fact that they're duos, boom. The fact that they're Bobbi Brown, yes. Like, everything about them. This one is the, I'm not sure what the exact name of the duo is, but it has Dream Gleam and Make a Toast in it. One is more of a matte, but again, it's more of like a satin matte shade, and then the other one is a shimmer. These are baked, which I love. I already told you guys that. I love the packaging. I love that it's a duo. Like, these are just exactly what I want, where I'm feeling like the quality's there, the colors are there, the use is there, like everything about it is just exactly what I want. This one has Frosted and Supernova in it, and I like both of them. I love both of them, honestly. I love this kind of peachy pink matte for a really easy transition type color. This pink is so stunning. It's like a ballet slipper pink. It does have some like multi-dimensional shimmer in there. It's not super sparkly, but it's also not like metallic. So I find it's a really beautiful in between. If you like some of her single shadows, I have a single shadow from her that I got in a limited edition collection that I love, and it reminds me of that one. And then the brown in here that's a shimmer is just stunning too, and I like to wear them together. When I'm feeling the most extra, I'll use the matte shade in here as a transition. I will then put the shimmer shade down all over my lid in this palette. Then I'll use this as the outer corner, and then I will top the pink kind of on this inner part of my lid. and I love it. I've done that look many times and I friggin' am obsessed with it, but I love them on their own too. So these are just little treasures. Like when I speak of single shadows and all this being little treasures, I mean, the packaging, just everything about these is what I love. Like just truly is my heart at the moment. So I'm obsessed with these. As for the last palette, it's also Bobbi Brown, and look at this. Look at the packaging, stunning packaging. This was the Moonstone, I wanna say, collection. There were some single shadows. Those are pretty. I think they're mostly all sold out at this point. So I just figured I would talk about the palette and just let you guys know my thoughts. Mostly because although I think this is a nice palette, again, the quality is there. I love the packaging. Inside, this is what it looks like. It has 6 shadows and then a highlighter in the middle. You're getting some repeat shades that I've definitely seen before. So Moonstone is definitely a shadow that is in a single. It's in a lot of palettes. It's re-promoted a lot. Malted Pink is also quite popular and re-promoted a lot. I want to say Antique Rose is too. So you're not necessarily always getting new shadows. So if you're a big Bobbi Brown collector, I think it's really important to look at the shadows. I was not as good at that. I'm like, oh. So that's something I'm being more aware of, is looking at the exact shades that are coming out, because again, they are re-promoted, which in some ways I hate. I want new shades, I want the new stuff, but I also love that they're just that good of shadow. And sometimes palettes can be more affordable again than the single shadows, because I think the Bobbi Brown singles run for like $40, which again is expensive, but if you find a color that you like, I think they're so good. Anyway, I love Moonstone in here. I like the shadows in here. It's kind of hard to do a full-on look with this because you're definitely getting very simple looks in here. And I know I like a simple look, but there's just something about this one. There's some iridescent shades which are pretty. This one's called Mystic, which has like a little bit of a pink iridescent flip to it. There's also this blue one, which is called Starry Sky, which kind of reminds me of Cosmic Rocks from Charlotte Tilbury. Kind of has that purple, green, blue shift going on. Definitely beautiful, goes with the theme, but I don't know. I just don't get as much use out of this palette specifically. The highlighter in the middle is beautiful. I love the Bobbi Brown highlighters, but again, it's not gonna work for everyone, so you kind of just have to know. These face palettes come out every now and then, and I just think if one looks like it's gonna really work for you, like the right shadows in there, the right tones in the highlighter, it might be a good pickup. It might be like, damn, I use this thing all the time. But again, as soon as one thing starts being off, or it's a repeat, or the highlighter doesn't work for you, or whatever, it starts to lose its value even if the quality's there. So love the packaging though. I've been a bit of a sucker for packaging lately. Alternatively, if Bobbi Brown comes out with any of these like 4-packs where it's different shades like this, these I highly suggest. This is like $55 when, again, the single shadows alone are $40, and a lot of these are re-promoted. I think Moonstone's in here again, Metal Rose, Sunflare, Citrine, just stunning. I would pick this up again and again and again. So I just think these are maybe better buys unless, again, it's that perfect fit for you. But damn, okay, I think that's everything. Those are all my thoughts on the new holiday stuff. The new-ish, some of it's newer, some of it isn't as new, but the holiday makeup that's come out for 2023, what I feel about it, again, it's a lot of like great stuff, and I feel like for the right person, some of the things that maybe I'm not loving might not be deal breakers for you, might be positives for you. So I just hope my reviews can be helpful, let you guys know anything that you might want. I'd love to know what you've picked up for holiday, if you've bought any new makeup, like what have you been loving, maybe what have you not been loving, let us know down below. Again, the Oden's eye palettes launch on the 10th, so if you are interested in them, again, you can use my code Lauren, that is affiliated, to save some money. But as always with any of my stuff, no pressure, do what's best for you. That's what I want. I want you to love your makeup collection. That's why we're all here, but I'm gonna leave it. Okay, the longest video ever about holiday. I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys. Oh my gosh, was my hair like that the whole time? That's so annoying. Why? Come on, hair.